Welcome back to the Acne channel. Now, most of you know the two main treatments or over-the-counter methods when it comes to treating acne, whether it's inflammatory or non-inflammatory. In this video, we're going to be talking about benzoyl peroxide. Does it work? What are the long-term lasting effects? What are the pros, the cons, the drawbacks? What do we look out for? Let's get into it. Let's start with the pros. Now, one of the best things about benzoyl peroxide is that it actually works really fast. It's effective and quick. When we're talking about salicylic acid, this is a great chemical exfoliant. It helps to clear pores and is really good for blackheads and whiteheads. When it comes to benzoyl peroxide, the best thing about it when it comes to larger, painful acne is that it kills the bacteria on the skin and around those really red and inflamed areas. What this means is that it can reduce the size of acne very, very quickly, from a larger spot to a much smaller spot. When using benzoyl peroxide, this can be used as a spot treatment on very specific spots or on the whole face, whether spreading a thin layer on the cheeks, the nose, the forehead, the chin. I have done both ways. This is actually the last benzoyl peroxide product that I used. The brand is Epiduo and it has 2.5% benzoyl peroxide, and we're actually going to talk a little bit more about the different percentages that exist and what is best. All right, so for best results, you can start to see results after using benzoyl peroxide anywhere from a week to 2 weeks. It depends on how quickly your skin responds. My skin started to respond to this stuff quite quickly, and it worked really, really well. I had a really bad breakout. I think it was a couple of years ago or last year. I wasn't really sure what it was. I was eating clean. I thought that my hormones were pretty balanced, whether it was a change in environment. I moved country and just a whole different routine. And I started to break out with these larger acne spots. They weren't completely cystic, but it was very uncomfortable. And a family friend of mine actually offered me this exact bottle, and it worked like a charm. It was like magic, honestly, saved my skin. But of course, it's not a permanent forever solution. It's a really great spot treatment if you need sort of a quick fix, but obviously not something that you want to rely on all the time. If you are someone who deals with gut issues or hormonal imbalances, if that is the core issue that underlies your acne, like it was with me at the very beginning of my journey, that is what is the most important thing to address. And of course, here and there, especially as women, even for men, hormones can be up and down, life happens, and so we start to break out randomly and not know why, and remedies like this can really, really help. So this is where benzoyl peroxide comes in. Another benefit, another pro to using benzoyl peroxide is that it is anti-inflammatory. This means that it's really good for active pimples that are inflamed, that are red, that are really angry on your skin. And so because it's anti-inflammatory, this can help with the pain. Acne can be really, really painful. It can have this throbbing feeling. It's just ever present. It's always there. And you're so aware of the fact that you have these spots on your face. And that's where benzoyl peroxide can really help to manage the pain because of its anti-inflammatory properties and help to reduce the size, which is really good news. The third benefit to benzoyl peroxide is the fact that it is readily available. It is actually really affordable as well. It's over the counter, which means you don't need a prescription for it. There are different percentages of benzoyl peroxide, like I mentioned earlier. 2.5, which is what is the active ingredient in here, 5% and 10%. Now, this is something to definitely take care of when choosing a product. I know that it can be really tempting to go for the higher percentage of something because we might think, and through marketing, that it works better, it works faster, and you're going to get the results as you want. much more quickly. But the thing about using a higher percentage of benzoyl peroxide is the fact that it does dry the skin out. It can severely irritate, dry the skin, cause itchiness if you jump straight from 0% using benzoyl peroxide to jumping to 10%. So I would definitely suggest starting with 2.5 and then working your way up to 5, and honestly just stopping there. 2.5 was well and good for me. I actually think that 2.5 is ideal as a percentage of benzoyl peroxide to use, and you don't need anything more. But if you want to experiment with your skin and see what works best for you, I would suggest to work your way up slowly. When I say that, start slowly as well. So if you do notice that as you're starting using benzoyl peroxide, that it is causing dryness or itchiness that's really irritating, then just use it every other day rather than every single day, and then you can gradually move to using it twice a day. Again, really depends on how your skin responds and what your skin current state is like, and just take it step by step, day by day. Listen to your skin and be gentle with yourself. All right, so as we highlighted, the first drawback is the fact that it does dry out the skin, and this can actually be really discouraging for some people, that they completely stop using it because they think, all right, that didn't work for me, that just made my skin really red and itchy and irritated, when in fact it's about gradually moving into the regimen of including it into your skincare daily. The second con or drawback is because of the fact that it does dry out the skin, it can also make you more sensitive to the sun. Benzoyl peroxide naturally exfoliates. It is a chemical exfoliant for the skin, and so because of this, the skin can be more sensitive to UV rays. So it's very important to use SPF to just completely avoid the sun. You can use a really big sun hat, stay in the shade a little bit more. And another option, which I actually opted for, was using this in the evening. So I didn't expose my skin to any sun when I was asleep, because I was sleeping indoors, not outdoors, and also there was the moon and not the sun. And so that just made it all the more simple. And then while I was using this, I would just be more sensitive to the fact that if I was exposing my skin to the sun, I would wear a wide brim hat and be sure to put on a good SPF. All right, the third drawback is that it is actually a strong bleaching agent. So it is potent, it is effective, but because it does have this sort of bleaching characteristic, just a word of caution to be careful with your pillowcases, with your towels, with your clothes. If you have darker clothes, darker fabrics, then it may cause discoloration. Quick tip, just opt to use white pillowcases over the course of using your benzoyl peroxide, white towels, maybe explore more white fabrics and clothes that you're wearing if you want to just be careful when using the benzoyl peroxide and not risk discoloring your outfits or your bed sheets. I never actually noticed any discoloration with my bed sheets, but there have been reports of people who have, and I think just definitely avoid that. And all my towels are white as well, so maybe that's why I didn't really see anything there. So the fourth drawback is, well, not really drawback, but something to keep in mind. Does it deliver long-term results? Actually, it delivers short-term results, which can actually help a lot, like it did for me. You know, obviously having pimples and spots can be embarrassing. This is where it's so important to fall in love with the person that you are and not what's on your skin, and you are not defined at all by your skin. It can help, especially when it comes to the inflammation and the pain. So it is a short-term fix, and like I mentioned earlier, if you are someone who wants to or needs to improve on your gut health and your hormone balancing, then definitely just take a closer look at your lifestyle, making sure that you're consuming whole foods, that you're hydrating well, that you're supporting your body's natural detoxification process. This was a lesson that I learned very early into my acne healing journey, And as healthy as I thought I was, there were so many other areas of my life that I could tighten up and round off to support my skin. And it did mean swapping things and changing things with my nutrition and what I was eating and how I was sleeping and managing stress. But at the end of the day, it was so beneficial for me, and it is a great short-term solution. It does have really good results, but the ultimate goal is to not depend on it and to not rely on it all the time for the rest of your life. And you don't have to, but definitely effective, definitely quick with the results. And if you are using it, not abusing it, then your skin is going to respond well. Will start to learn how to manage itself using the benzoyl peroxide. Another quick tip is with the dryness to get a good moisturizer that you like. I personally like to use Banish's vitamin C cream because it's light, it is so moisturizing, and it feels so good on my skin. But there are so many other options out there at the pharmacy. Cetaphil, for example, is a nice clean option and very popular. So that is something to definitely add in. I also like to use aloe vera products. Like, I literally have a plant at home. If I want to moisturize my skin, there is a reason why it's so great after having a sunburn, and you could probably use it for the same thing with benzoyl peroxide. It's natural and works really well. So I did say that the ultimate goal, for me at least, and perhaps for you too, is not to depend on products like benzoyl peroxide for the rest of your life. And so what I did, or actually maybe what I didn't do, is I didn't wean off of the product. And I would say definitely wean off, because it dries the skin. The body is going to react to that. Your oil glands might start to go into overdrive and start to produce more oil to compensate. And so just whatever and however many days you're using it for, however frequent, just start to taper, use it less in the day, less in the week, and eventually wean off of it and grab it if you do need it again for whatever reason. Another quick tip is to avoid sensitive areas on your face. So the lips can be very sensitive and prone to dryness. The eyes most definitely will get irritated. So just be sure that after you've applied it to the spots on your face, that you wash your hands really well before touching your eyes or even your mouth. So that's the inside scoop on benzoyl peroxide. I hope and trust that this was helpful. Whatever solution you choose for yourself, I really hope that it helps and that you found this information helpful. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments, and I will see you next time.